Greetings class. This video serves as a guide for your pre-class activities for Module 3P. There are three key areas in this video which I will cover. First, the schedule. 2, the assignment and assessment requirements. 3, the pre-class preparation. I will start off with the schedule. For this module, basically there are 2 full Saturdays and 1 weekday evening. The first Saturday will start on the 9th of May, where we will cover on the workplace learning fundamentals, how to develop your workplace learning and follow-up plans, and how to use them. This will basically lead you to your written assignment 1A and 1B. Your written assignment 1A focuses on your workplace learning plan, whereas your 1B focuses on the workplace follow-up plan. Please note, these are the assessment requirements, and in addition, there are 3 questions that you will also be required to answer in your written assignment 1A. The next Saturday will be on the 16th of May. So during this session, the first half of the day, we will be focusing on your practice session on how to conduct your workplace learning session, as well as your follow-up session. You will pair up with a peer, and then you will practice through role play, taking turns to be the trainer and the learner. In this session, you will also be using your draft written assignment 1A and 1B to conduct the workplace learning and follow-up session. Right. Then the afternoon of 16th of May, this is where we will talk about the workplace coaching plan. You will also get time to prepare for your workplace coaching conversation. This primarily leads to your written assignment 1C, where there will be a template for you to draft your coaching plan as well as your coaching conversation. Once you have completed, remember to submit to your draft. I will also be providing you feedback, following which you will use the revised draft of your 1C to conduct your workplace coaching conversation on the 18th of May. Right? Do take note there's a typo error here. On the 18th of May, it will only be 2 hours, which means it's 7 to 9. Right? So do come ready with your revised workplace coaching plan so that you can conduct your practice session for your workplace coaching conversation. Right? And these are the requirements mentioned below for your written assignment 1C and your practical performance 2. So in short, you can see that there are actually 2 practical performance. One relates to the workplace coaching conversation, and the other one focuses on conducting a workplace learning session and follow-up session. So on this note, I would also like to share that after you have completed your sessions on 18th of May, it also means that you have completed your training for this Module 3P. So you'll need to upload your final submission in Canvas, including your cover sheet, your written assignment 1A, 1B, and 1C. The deadline will be on the 23rd of May, 2026, 12 p.m. After which, you will need to get ready for your practical performance. There are 4 dates for your practical performance: 28 May, 2nd June, 4th June, and 6th June. You will only be required to attend one of the day and the time slot that you have selected. Once you have completed your your assessment, you may go back home. So I will review the schedules and the details during our in-class session on the first day. Right, so just take note that there are 4 dates for your practical performance. And there will be 2 practical performance that you will need to demonstrate on that day, PP1 and PP2. So basically in this module, there are three key focus. One, pre-design and development, which focuses on your written assignment 1A and 1B. Then you go into the workplace learning and workplace follow-up session, which is the demonstration of your practical performance 1 using your resource from written assignment 1A and 1B. You'll use that to conduct your PP1. Then finally, you have the workplace coaching, which is your written assignment 1C. And you will use your written assignment 1C to conduct your practical performance 2. So these forms the assessment requirements. Now, how should you get started? Well, to begin, you will need to go into your Canvas, which I'll show you shortly, all right, and choose one of the 4 IAL workplace case studies. So later on, when I demonstrate where can you locate this case study, you will see that there are 4 sectors that you can choose from, right? Retail, F&B, manufacturing, and corporate. Choose only one of the sector, right? Only one of the sector, because every sector will have their own case study. So assuming if I choose retail, then I will focus on retail throughout my written assignment 1A, 1B, 1C, and both my practical performance. So the moment you choose a sector, refer to the case study of that sector, and that will form the context for your remaining written assignments as well as for your practical performance. Right? So do not switch into other sectors in your assignment. Right? You will have to stay on to the same sector. So once you have selected the sector, refer to the case study based on the sector. You will also be required to download your written assignment template, which I will share with you shortly where you can actually find it. Your 1A, 1B, 1C, and the assessment requirements also comprise of your practical performance 1 and 2. Right? And in your written assignment 1A, again, there are 3 questions that you'll be required to answer. Do have a quick look at these questions and see if you can find the answers. Right? All right, so that basically covers the schedule, the assignment, and assessment requirements. Now I'm going to share with you, what are some of the pre-class preparations before we meet on our first session. So first thing you may want to do is I will share a Google Drive link with you in our chat group. Once you have access to the Google Drive link, it will take you to this page over here. All right, this Google Drive. It will be your M3P participants folder. So once you gain access to this folder, what you need to do is to download cover sheet, the written assignment 1C, 1A, 1B, and also the briefing checklist. So download all this document into your desktop or your laptop. Right, so I'm going to just show you samples of this document so that you have an idea how it looks like. So this is your written assignment 1A, which comprises of your pre-design development job aid and the workplace learning plan. All right, so this is basically is your written assignment 1A. So note that for your pre-class preparation, what you need to do is to complete this pre-design and development job aid. This page, this first page, you need to complete this from the name of organization all the way to learner's profile and preferred learning styles. So please complete this before you come in on our first session. Then during our first session, we will focus on completing this part, which is your workplace learning plan. Okay, and also the task to learn, assessment, the past steps, how you assess the steps, what are the knowledge tests, whether through quizzes, whether through MCQ using Google Form or Slido. How do you assess the certain skills? Right. So we'll address this during our first day of our class session. Then there are also 3 questions that you will be required to answer. We will cover this as well in class, but I do encourage you to read up first. In the learner's guide, you should be able to have some reference from the learner's guide to answer these 3 questions. Then the workplace resource checklist and the workplace learning observation checklist. Now, these are documents you will use during your practical performance 1, right? During your PP1, these are supporting documents to guide in your setup as well as your preparation. Yes, as well as the conduct, where you will observe the conduct of your workplace learning plan. So this is your written assignment 1A. And then your written assignment 1B is basically the follow-up plan. Right? So the follow-up plan, you basically need to indicate the tasks that you have conducted the training, and also indicate when's the training date, and schedule 2 sessions. One week after the training date, another one 2 weeks after the first session. All right? And then you need to get your learner to sign off, or your trainee to sign off. So basically, this is the workplace follow-up plan. Then you have your written assignment 1C, which is your workplace coaching plan and your workplace coaching conversation. So this is your written assignment 1C, which you will use. And if you look at this part here, it says the on-site observation. So this is where you need to watch a video from your Canvas as well, regarding an issue that has occurred at workplace. All right, and you need to write down and cite evidence as well. Okay. What are some of the issues, so that you will use that to formulate a workplace coaching conversation with the trainee. And you need to prepare your coaching conversation in terms of the question that you would like to ask, or you may like to also script down what you like to say as well. All right. So this is basically your written assignment 1C, which you will use for your practical performance 2. Okay, so that's your written assignment 1C. And then I'll just show you the cover sheet. All right. So do note that you need to fill up the cover sheet. We'll talk about this during our in-class session. And then finally, the briefing checklist. The briefing checklist, you will use this during your practical performance 1. All right, just to give you a heads up. So before you conduct the workplace learning plan, right, you will need to conduct a briefing first to your trainee or to your learner. So this is where this briefing checklist comes in. Excuse me. Last but not least, there is this sample for reference only. As it's indicated, it's a sample for reference only, so please do not copy the answers directly and use them as your answers for your written assignments. All right, that's plagiarism. All right, so please do not do that. But you can use this to have an idea how you frame your answers when you're answering your written assignment 1A, 1B, and 1C. If you need some guide, where should I find the answers? How should I answer it? So you can use this as a reference, right? But do not copy the answers directly. Okay, it will be useful. It will be helpful to you. Okay, so that's all for the Google Drive. All right, the rest of the items, all right, you can read up, you can download the participant slides as well. There's a learner guide here, right, which you can download to have a read at the learner's guide. Then there are activity 1 and 2, which we'll do during our in-class session. Okay, so again, in summary, once you have gained access to the Google Drive link, download your M3P assignment. All right, your cover sheet 1A, 1B, 1C, and the briefing checklist. Download this document. The rest of the items in your Google Drive, you can have a read. All right. Then second step, once you have got your Google Drive, you have got your documents, then go to Canvas. All right. Go to your Canvas. So in your Canvas, what you need to do is, once you have gained access to Canvas, go to Learning Resource. Okay, click on Learning Resource. And once you have clicked on Learning Resource, you will see Learner's Guide. Now, if you have downloaded earlier on, you do not need to download again. It's the same guide. But look at the header, Case Study for Workplace Learning Plan and Workplace Follow-up Plan. Right? So over here, there are 4 sectors. Okay, remember, you need to choose only one of the sector, and that will form the context for your remaining assignment as well as your practical performance. Right? So that will be the context step. And so, example, if I choose F&B, all right, I'll click F&B. Okay, and then I will read the case study over here. So this information, the case study and the video, which you will need to watch, which basically talks about an interview with the F&B stakeholders, will help you address your written assignment 1A. All right, so which is basically your written assignment 1A, this part, the pre-design and development job aid. All right, so you need to go through those materials in your Canvas, the case study, and the video. Right, you may also want to read up on some of the information below. They are quite useful. So basically, these information, the first part here, not the second video, right? Just the first video. The first video and the case study, the background, the organization, part A. You can also read part B as well. All right. These are relevant information that will help you address your written assignment 1A, the pre-design and development job aid. Right. So you only need to complete this first page. Okay. And just to show you, the rest of the other sector are similar in the context of the case study and the video. All right, meaning that they also have case study that's written up. Okay, it's part A over here, the background. There's also the focus of engagement with the department store. So this is the retail sector, and there's also the video as well. All right, so remember, you need to read the case study and the video, right, in order for you to answer the questions in your pre-design and development job aid. Okay, so this is the retail, and then there is also manufacturing. Okay, the manufacturing case study, the video, part B as well. And then we also have the corporate. So for corporate, same, we have the case study, we have the video with the corporate stakeholder. There is also the part B that focuses on engagement. All right. Right, so once you have watched the video, the interview, also read the case study, complete the written assignment 1A, the first page, the pre-design and development job aid, right? Complete this part. Basically, you have to extract information, write in your own words, the name of the organization. If let's say you're choosing the retail, then name the retail organization, right? Which industry would it be? It will be retail. Type and products or services offering, refer to the case study. All right, and then write in your own words. Okay. All right. Please do not copy the case study from the from the Canvas material and paste it directly in. All right. Please do not do that. And what I mean by that is you go to the case study, F&B example, and you just copy all this, all right, and then you paste it inside here. All right, like paste it everything word for word. Hey, please rephrase that in your own words as well. The context should be the same, but it should not be word for word that's similar, that's directly taken out from the case study, right? And then paste it as your answer, right? Write in your own words. So that's basically what you need to do for your pre-class preparation, right? This will really give you a good head start for this module, all right? So for some of you who wishes to move forward, all right, after you have completed your pre-design development job 8, you want to know, hey, what's next? So for those who are interested, now you can also look at the second video, all right? So the second video is where it addresses the follow-up sessions, all right, the training, basically the workplace learning plan, which is the second part here, the workplace learning plan here, right? This template here, the steps, the assessment of learning, all right? So the remaining of these 3 documents, as well as the follow-up session, right? The follow-up session, which is this one, all right, will be related to the second video, all right? So the second video will demonstrate there is a gap in a certain performance, right? So you need to look at it based on this gap, what kind of training should you offer? And you will also be required to write down the steps for this training to happen, right? What you need to train step by step, right? So that is the workplace learning plan, the second part, right? So you refer to the second video for the workplace learning plan. Then if let's say you want to move on some more to the next part, which relates to the workplace coaching. So what you do is that you will go back, right, to the first to the module 3, and then relate to the workplace coaching plan, right? So the third video, this video focuses on the workplace coaching plan. It will be in the context for completing your workplace coaching plan. All right. Okay, so just to give you a overview of what to expect for this module. All right. So if you have any questions, feel free to check in with me during your in-class session, okay, or you can drop me a text in our chat group. All right. Do make effort to complete this last journey of your ACLP. As you may be aware, the duration of this module is the shortest among the 3. So you definitely would have a good head start if you prepare ahead, right? Because the assignments and the practice sessions are really tight. So I really encourage you to do a preparation, complete the pre-design and development job 8 before in-class session, right? And do read up, right? It will really help you to move into this last module more smoothly. All right, that's all from me. I wish you all the best. I'll see you in class. Thank you.